DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're joined by Lance Anderson, head coach, Utah Tech. Utah Tech with a golf tournament at Thanksgiving Point. 2 o'clock this afternoon, shotgun start. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be with you guys.
Well, thanks for coming on the air. We have so many questions to ask you about college football. You've got interesting viewpoints because you were at Stanford for a long time, so you're one of the haves. And now you're at Utah Tech, and it's a totally different world in the Big Sky. And I'm curious, as you watch these changes, and some of the people you may actually know or have some contact with, do you see anybody with a long-term view of what's best for college football, or do you see a lot of people doing what's best for their employer, whether it's a league or a school?
I think right now a lot of people are just trying to do what is best, for them and trying to find a way to survive, because it's really, things have really changed just with NIL, with the transfer portal, with just some of the conference realignments, things like that. College football has definitely changed. I mean, the game on the field is still, it's the best. There's just nothing better than college football. But it's the stuff outside that is definitely very different, and you have to find a way to navigate that, in order to be successful. And I think it's a little bit different for everybody.
Yeah, with that in mind, fundraising is such a big deal. How do you go about doing it at your level to be able to get the players that you want?
It certainly has been a challenge at Utah Tech. I think there's a ton of potential here, but we just got to roll up our sleeves and dig in, do a little fundraising. That's what we're doing with the golf tournament today. But it really does come down to money, and it's been very interesting. I think almost everything is filtered down to the FCS level in terms of, players with agents, players looking for money, the transfer portal. And I've never talked to so many agents as I did during the month of January when that transfer portal opened. Mm-hmm. And that's always the first question is, how much money do you guys have? How much NIL do you have? And it's if you don't have money, it's definitely hard to compete.
And I would get a junior or senior looking to go to the Big Sky and looking at Utah Tech would want to get the money. This is the best payday they could be looking at. But I was curious at that level when you're dealing with freshmen and sophomores. I'm sure they want the money, but how much are they interested in how much you can help them improve as a player? Because they still have a couple of years of eligibility, and we see plenty of Big Sky players go on. Scadaboo's probably the best example, but there's plenty going to the Mountain West, the Pac-12, the Big 12, the Big 10, whatever. And that seems to be important, but I don't know how much people are looking at it when they're freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, I think, if they can get something, that they want to get that. And if, things are even, then that's maybe the deciding factor. But you're exactly right. And that's the thing that we're really trying to push is the opportunity to play, the opportunity to improve, the opportunity to get better. Just knowing that, hey, if you have a guy that might play well for you for a year or two, they might move on and go to an FBS school or a Power 4 school. And I think today's day and age, you just have to embrace that and understand that's what's going to happen. And so that's a big selling point for us in recruiting is, yes, come here and help turn this program around, have an immediate impact, really put some stuff on film, and then that may allow you to get kind of NIL deal that you're looking for and the opportunity to play at the kind of school that you would like. So that's just the day and age now, and we have to embrace that.
Yeah, we've talked to other coach Eric Kerr at Weber, who's starting this year. He was talking about that. Todd Phillips, basketball coach at UVU, has gone through this now several years where kids have come to his program and then they've gone on to the Power 4, Power 5 in basketball, and that's the way of the world, and that's the recruiting pitch. How much from the perspective of the kid does he buy that? Because Todd is telling us, hey, even if you're a 4-star, if you're a freshman, you might be buried. Well, you come here, you're not going to be buried.
I think each kid's a little bit different, and I think they all do their research at different levels, and I think some are more realistic than others. But I think some kids are very realistic about it, and they look at like who else is on the team and where their role might be. And I think it does factor in if they feel like they could have a bigger role and bigger impact somewhere else, even though maybe the money's not as good. But with good guidance and stuff, looking at the long-term picture, that some of them might be willing to. I might not make as much money right now, but this is a great opportunity for me to show my skills, come here, help this team compete for a championship, and then in the future maybe I can capitalize on that.
Your sports information director, Steve Johnson, I was talking with him a year ago, and he started listing all the schools your players had gone to. It was pretty impressive. San Jose State came in and took a guy. I think Wyoming or CSU, maybe both of them, but at least one of them came in and took a guy. How long is that list now? If someone asks that, can you just start reciting all the schools that you've sent players to?
It is, and it's an impressive list. I mean, in addition to some schools you mentioned, we're talking like Washington, UCLA, Utah State. I mean, it's a number of schools. Wake Forest, and that's why you got to be excited for the kid, because you look at some of the money they're getting in terms of NIL, and it's like, wow, that's impressive. Like our tight end last year, who's our leading receiver, is at Oregon State now and got a really good NIL deal. And just the opportunity to compete at a level like that, you can't blame them for being excited about it. It's just tough for us as you develop them, you help them get to that point. You feel like they're really a focal point of what you're trying to build, and then they move on. But that's the nature of the game, and when that happens, we got to go out and replace them.
September 5th, you come to Provo to play BYU. How much does that help your bank account?
I think that will definitely help. Little things like that definitely help. So, but maybe not as much as we need, but it will help.
But you just play one money game, right?
We do. Yep.
Has anyone tried to talk you into two?
I've had those discussions with our athletic director. He's brought that up, and there might be, some years coming up where we might do something like that. But I think he's been pretty good about that too, understanding that, one is probably enough each year. The Big Sky is tough. A lot of good teams, top to bottom. But we'll see as we go year by year.
The junior college player, it doesn't seem like that is as prominent anymore. And I know you're going to recruit Utah, you're going to recruit Nevada, you're going to recruit California, you're going to recruit Arizona. I have an Arizona background, and junior college in the Phoenix area, football is all gone now. They don't even do it anymore. And that's terrible. It stinks for those kids that not have that opportunity. How does that affect you, just a junior college player at your level? Because it seems like it's not as big of a deal as it used to be.
You're right. As we go out, because we've still tried to target the junior colleges, just trying to find ways where maybe we can find maybe some talent that's being overlooked a little bit. Plus, you look at the junior college kids, and I think that's a good way to replace some of these transfers that we've been talking about, where these kids have some experience. They've played in games at the college level. They should be able to jump in and play sooner. And what we found going around a lot of junior college coaches have told us the same thing, that they're not getting the same kind of traffic or interest that they did, several years ago. So I think that could be a good way for us to maybe find some guys. Now there is, there's always the academic piece of that and the eligibility piece, and we found that's been a challenge at times. But I think we can find some good junior college kids out there. We've got some on the roster. We've got a few coming in again this year that I think will really help us.
Lance Anderson joining us. He is the head football coach at Utah Tech. It's a change for you. You're going into the Big Sky this year, and you're really embracing it, because in addition to BYU, it looks like you filled out your schedule with the teams that you weren't meeting in Big Sky games. Like a lot of leagues, it's gotten very big, and they don't play a complete round robin. So you just dove in and used Big Sky schools to finish the rest of your schedule.
That's exactly right. So in addition to playing BYU, the rest of our schedule is all Big Sky teams. It's just our game against Montana, our game against Northern Arizona. Those don't count as Big Sky games. But the schedule is full of Big Sky teams. And I think this is something that a lot of schools are going to do going forward, just where there's not a lot of other FCS schools out west. And I know our athletic director has mentioned to me that he's been in communication with a lot of other athletic directors in the league that, hey, if there's a year we don't play a Big Sky game, how about playing a non-conference game? So I think we're going to see a little bit more of this in our league.
The grill is shot. The chairs are held together by optimism. And what happened to the rug? Sounds like your outdoor setup is not ready for patio season. Fix it all with Wayfair. Shop Wayfair for grills, rugs, furniture, and more. With 20 million 5-star reviews, room of choice delivery, and expert setup on qualifying orders, it's never been easier to do more for less. Get 10% off your first eligible purchase. Hurry to wayfair.com or download the app now.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Since you've been in coaching for a long time, you build relationships wherever that may be, and it can literally scatter all over the country in terms of you guys knowing folks and so forth, particularly you. Have you been able to tap into that to help get players?
I think so. During a lot of my coaching career, I've recruited in the state of Utah, and so I know a lot of high school coaches in the state. So I think that's been good. And I mean, we want to do a great job of recruiting in the state of Utah. I think high school football is really good in the state. I think the coaching is really good in the state. I know there's a lot of competition, with BYU, Utah State, and then you add Weber State and Southern Utah to that along with us. There's a lot of competition for kids in the state, but we want to get Utah kids, and I think those connections that I've got or other our staff members, other connections they have are definitely helpful in that recruiting process.
Does that give you a little window into the world of NIL? Because I know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors as far as who has what, but have you been able to figure out what the range is as far as budgets in the Big Sky?
None of it is exact, but just whether it's talking to high school coaches, other college coaches, like I mentioned, all the conversations with agents now, you start to get a feel of kind of, who has what and what other schools are offering. So we kind of have an idea of what we need to be shooting for. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but yeah, you kind of have an idea. And there certainly are. There's the haves and the have-nots. There's some schools in the Big Sky that are paying quite a bit of money, and there are, I think, other schools that are similar to us that just don't have a lot right now. But we know that's something that we need to build towards, because I just don't think that this is going away. I think NIL might be more regulated going forward at some point, but I don't think it's going away. So it's something we have to be prepared for.
Every year we'd go down and cover Pac-12 media days, and I always enjoyed talking to the coaches. Now we'll do Big 12, obviously, here coming up. And one of the guys that I loved to talk to every single year was David Shaw, and it got to the point where we would laugh about him coming in and taking our players, and you know that full well because you were recruiting there, and he feasted on Utah kids because he once said on the air, you tell those people in Utah we're coming and we're coming often, and he laughed about it. And then when each year he'd approach us, and I'd say, oh no, here comes the thief, and he'd laugh and we'd carry on. So I got to develop a little relationship with him. And he was always fun to talk to, very insightful on and off the air. And he stepped aside at Stanford at a relatively young age. And I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten back into the head coaching business. What do you think about that? Because obviously you knew him very well.
Oh, he's a great coach. I mean, what a tremendous run, we had during that time at Stanford. And Coach Shaw just did a tremendous job there. And in addition to being a very good football coach, he's a very good person. I have learned so much from him, and learned so much of, how you go about things, how you treat people, just how important it is just to do the right thing, no matter how hard that might be. And I think there will be another opportunity. He's with the Detroit Lions right now, and I think he enjoys, coaching in the NFL. But, I think down the road there will definitely be another head coaching opportunity for David Shaw, and I think he will do very well when he has that opportunity.
When we had Bronco on, we were talking about how much time he spends fundraising, and he just said nonstop. And I'm curious if you found it to be the same thing, and if that's the kind of thing that would keep a David Shaw from returning, is that the job's changed a lot since he had his really good run at Stanford.
Yeah, I think for David, just, some of our conversations, and I think that's why he decided to step away when he did, it was just with all the transfer portal, the NIL, some of the fundraising, and just, the arms race, things like that, where, one of the things that we really liked during that time at Stanford, that decade when we really had that thing rolling, and we were one of the top programs in college football, was the continuity. You knew that you were going to get some great kids in there. You knew that you were going to have them for a while. You knew you were going to have a chance to develop those guys. And I think that's kind of maybe what drove him out, is just all those changes with the fundraising, with NIL, with the transfer portal, and always just trying to stay one step ahead instead of just being able to concentrate on football and developing young men and trying to get better. So it is certainly a challenge, and it's as a head coach, you just don't get to spend as much time on just the football part as you would like. You are torn in a lot of different directions.
Well, I know you got a golf tournament to go to, and you have money to raise before you go back to St. George and having probably another golf tournament and more money to raise, because it's just nonstop these days. Lance, we appreciate
it. It is.
Yeah, right. We appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for hopping on the air, and good luck the rest of the day.
Oh, thank you so much. Sure appreciate it, and I look forward to staying in touch with you guys.
All right, there's Lance Anderson, Utah Tech, making the move to the Big Sky this year with Southern Utah. Weber State's already there, obviously. 11 Big Sky opponents, including both Montana schools and Weber State and SUU.
That's tough. It
is tough. There is a really good argument that the Big Sky is the toughest league in the FCS. And they're probably people in the, I think it's a different name for football and basketball. I think it's the Summit League. But whatever league is with North Dakota State, South Dakota, and South Dakota State, except they just lost one of those moving up, the best one, North Dakota State. So that league taking a hit, losing that team. It's a tough schedule either way. Yeah. Whether it's the best or the second best league doesn't really matter.
I think they've gone 1-11 and 2-10.
They are coming off 2-10. Yeah.
So
but saving hard. Some money, they don't have to travel instead of flying off to.
I understand that, but the level of competition
is high. It's high. There's no way around it.
You're getting these programs that are entrenched at these levels.
Yes. And Eastern Washington's had an awesome run. Montana State have been really good. UC Davis has been really good. You go on down the line,
Right.
Weber State had a run. They've been down a little bit. We'll see if Kerr gets them back. There's no gimmies.
Whoa.
We'll see when Kerr gets him back.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Sitting over there in all your Corner Canyon gear. I forgot who I was talking to for a minute.
Yeah. I expect the same level of success at Corner as I do at Weber.
Does he have the NIL? You were talking about it with Utah
I'm doing all
this week.
I can.
And you that $25 that used to go to SU after the Rose Bowl, straight to Eric Kerr and Weber State. All 25, not 20. Not 20.
Every little bit helps.
I was going to get an Allen Iverson practice thing there if I wasn't careful.
But it's hard to compete, particularly in the state, when we've got so many schools playing football in this state. You look at Arizona, which is double the population.
Yep.
And they just don't have that. And now they lost JC's, which is, I think it's a blow. And obviously Rick's is no longer Rick's. They call it BYU Idaho, and they've stopped, and that was a very good program. Dixie, when it was a junior college, was a power.
I think your line about JC football is just that line of thinking is really interesting. There's still got to be some talent there. It is getting overlooked. Kyle Whittingham addressed this a couple of years ago at a press conference. We were up there on a Monday, and he got asked about it. He says there's no question that junior college recruiting is taking a hit, and people are going to the transfer portal to get the junior that they used to get out of a JC program or the sophomore they used to get out of a JC program. They've totally pivoted. Well, there's still kids playing JC who are late bloomers or who weren't on good teams, who've been overlooked for one reason or another.
Academic improvement.
Maybe they need academic improvement. They're one reason or another.
Yeah.
And they can still play and they can still help your team. And if it doesn't make sense in the Big 12 anymore, well, that ought to be a bonus for the Pac-12 or Mountain West. And if it doesn't make sense in the Pac-12 or Mountain West, then it ought to be a bonus for the Big Sky.
Right, but I just named 7-8 schools that ain't playing anymore.
That's true, but there's 70 of them playing in California. That they're still playing at Snow. Now, we've also lost JCs here. Utah Tech used to be Dixie JC, so that's one JC program that goes away.
Right.
Rick's is another one. It's now BYU Idaho. It went away. We've lost teams here, too. But nonetheless, there's still dozens and dozens playing in California. And they're still playing JC football in Kansas and Texas. And a lot of schools are going away from it.
Yeah, as we see in high school kids too, because of the transfer portal. And, we saw like Rob Wright the other day was addressing why he came back. Mm-hmm. See what your options are, but ultimately he comes back. I just don't know at a place like Utah Tech if you're going to be able to get those kids, okay, I've surveyed the landscape, I'm coming back.
It seems unlikely.
Right.
There's too much money at higher levels, so as Lance just pointed out, losing your star tight end, if a player is really good, there's too many schools above you in the pecking order with more money, including other Big Sky schools, but certainly the Mountain West, the Pac-12, the Big 12 on down the line. And Washington's in the Big 10, and they're taking a kid. But San Jose State's going to have more money than you. So they lost a kid to the Spartans a couple years ago.
It becomes hard for them to compete, and we'll see what. Now, we've got 3 schools in the state.
Right.
Who else has 3 schools in the state?
The thing is, it's not just it's not just like all the high school kids. Oh, they don't. No, nobody in the West does.
Right.
I mean, seriously, we're getting a California number of schools. California has more. Well, okay, California's got, 15 times more people.
Yeah.
So, of course, they have more.
Right.
But Oregon only has 3. Oregon State.
I'm talking just Big
Portland.
Sky.
Yeah, they have 1 Big Sky and 2.
Right, but I didn't add in the others.
But we have 3.
In state.
Yeah, we have 3, and
Right.
Oregon has 2, and Washington has 2.
What do you mean they have?
At the FBS level.
Oh, okay.
We have BYU, Utah, and Utah State. Whereas they have Oregon State, Washington State. Then when you drop down to the Big Sky level, they each have 1. And what do we have here? We got 3.
Right.
It's like there's, and that also stretches the NIL dollars. In St. George, if there were fewer teams playing in the state, well, maybe they could go up to Cedar City and raise a lot of money.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
Guess what? SU's already knocked on every door in Cedar City.
Right.
So you're kind of limited.
Right. They've got 2 basically 45 miles apart.
Right. And Oregon's got 1 in the whole state. And
Right.
Washington has 1 in the whole state. And Arizona has 1 in the whole state. And Colorado has 1 in the whole state. Now, Colorado does have a bunch of D2s. So there's that.
There's that. It just is, it's very difficult, and I'm not sure I see a way out.
No, I get your point. Unless there's just 1 or 2 people with deep pockets who want to make it happen. Because that seems to be how a lot of schools do it. It's how Texas Tech is doing it. It's how Oklahoma State did it.
Right,
it's how
but
Oklahoma
you're
did
gonna
it.
get a huge
And it's a
bang
lower
for
level.
your buck
But
there.
what's going to happen is you're going to look up at Montana that's got 2 Big Sky schools, not 3, and has no FBS schools. And ranchers and Hollywood types are going up there with money. There's wealth in Montana. I mean, there's a lot of people grinding,
Nick
too.
Faldo lives there.
Nick Faldo is there. If Montana or Montana State golf suddenly gets really good, we'll know why. Nick, what have you done? With the 3-month golf season they have up there.
I would love to see them all succeed, but it just doesn't seem realistic.
It looks like really heavy lifting.
Yeah.
It looks like really heavy lifting.
Right.
You got to try to find an angle and play an angle that nobody else is playing. And when you get it, and you find someone like Jay Hill, he's going to get taken away. You're going to lose your coaches who figure it out too.
Yeah, but he was there for a good while.
He did. It was a good run. No doubt about it. Was it 7 years all in when he was
something
there?
Like that. But it worked. Mm-hmm. I just wonder if Utah Tech can find even a way to get to 500.
It's heavy lifting. There is no way around it. Heavy lifting. All right. Thanks to Lance for coming on. DJ and PK, when we come back, everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempower.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.